Well, Bloom, it's very much for joining me as ever on game day. And oh, dearie me. Another new low, a goalless draw against rock bottom of League One, Rochdale. Your thoughts, as ever, my friend?
I'm so angry. I'm more angry at myself for expecting anything different and deciding that this would be the best use of my bank holiday Monday, as it was for my Easter Friday, doing the same thing and booking off the afternoon to watch that. I said to you before the game, there were 7 shots in that game, not one on target from either team. And obviously it's going to look worse on us, because if you'd have said to the Rochdale manager before the game, this is what's going to happen, there's going to be 7 shots in the game, 0 shots on target, they'll take that. Do you know what? Actually, screw it. They might have even been disappointed with that. But it's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's predictable, which is what makes it even more annoying. I even had a little bit of a flounce on Friday and said something like, I'm upset with Paul Cook and I'm a bit upset that he's not really had much of an impact so far. Do you know what? I kind of have had the weekend to think about it. I kind of rescind it a little bit. It's not his fault. He tried 2 different formations in that game. He's made only 1 change, but obviously he's made changes throughout his time here. He's trying his best. There is not one player, and I've said it in the podcast before when you said to us, find 3 players that you want to keep for next season. And I named you 3 players, and I struggled then. There is not one player I want there next season. I cannot stand any of the players that are in our squad at the moment. Any of them. It's just a waste. It's an absolute waste. There are players in our under-23s I'd rather go and see. Elkan Baggett, I'd rather him start. Any of the youngers, El Mazzuni, like obviously Corey and anyone. I'd rather have anyone right now than some of our senior professionals, because at the moment we've got these players who are in still somehow 8th in the league, sometimes 7th, sometimes 9th, on the door of the top 6 technically, and they're putting in this kind of performance against the bottom of the league side with the worst defense in the league and 1 home win all season. I know they've drawn a load, but the onus is down on us, Ipswich, to find a way to try and break that deadlock, because they're going to be happy with a 0-0. And there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. So many wayward passes. No idea of a direction style of play. No one willing to pick the ball up and drive at it. What is there to lose? There's nothing to lose right now against a team who are 24th in the league and probably going to be playing in League 2 next season. And hey, if they get out of it, fantastic. They've obviously earned it. But in my opinion, they're probably going to go down this season. But there's nothing. Not 1 shot on target. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And like I said, it's predictable, which is what makes it more annoying. I'm fed up with every single player. Every single one of them. If Paul Cook made 11 changes on Saturday, I wouldn't care. I honestly wouldn't care. Because what is there to lose? What are you seeing from these players that's going to make you change your mind if you're Paul Cook? There's nothing. There's so much that needs changing at this football club. So much that needs changing in terms of players. And this game I don't know what the players are thinking. Some of these are never going to get a professional club at this level again. I'm sure of it. Because if you're a League One club, do you have any of our players? Would you look and say, oh yeah, I really think that Kane Jackson's going to get me 25 goals in League One. Oh yeah, I really think that that Teddy Bishop or Andre Dazelle is going to be the linchpin of a League One midfield. No, you wouldn't. You just wouldn't. Like, there's nothing there. What are they thinking? What are they thinking they're getting out of showing that as a performance to anyone who might sign them? Because God knows there must be a few of them who realise they're not going to get a club next season if we let them go. And we're going to let so many go. It's honestly, I don't get it. I don't know who sold their soul in 1981 so that we'd win the UEFA Cup and we'd get this for the next 50 years. Screw me for being born in 1994 to miss 99% of the good times. I don't understand what is happening at this football club. I don't understand the players. I don't understand why they think it's acceptable to put in a performance like this. And if they're trying their hardest, then why the hell are they here in the first place? Because we were a championship team 2 years ago. I don't know. You watch as many games as I do, Ross. You're a smart man. You are. I promise you, you are. No, you are. You might not be as animated as I am when you come across, but I know you probably think the same as me, having watched that. So where we go from here, I don't know. I'm sure some of the other people that come on this evening might say something similar. But hey, none of us predicted anything other than a win, and we were all wrong in terms of the predictions for us Kings of Anglia lot. Maybe we should have seen it coming. And hey, we've got 7 games to go now, whatever it is. It's not going to change. It's not going to change in those 7 games. There's going to be 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 changes next season. Christ knows what it's going to be like next season in League One. And believe me, it's going to be in League One.
Well, Darren, thank you very much for joining me as ever on game day. And we've got a goalless draw to talk about on Easter Monday, this time against Rochdale. A new low. I thought the Northampton goalless draw, the Wigan goalless draw was bad. But once again, it's been topped by today's game. Your thoughts as ever, my friend?
Yeah, that was a very bad game. I mean, that was a very bad game. I mean, we weren't there, so I don't know how strong the wind was, that, you know, and the pitch might have been rock solid. I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for them, but you could go over the park and watch a better quality game of football than that. You know, it was both sides. Well, the first half, I think the first half was the worst. That was pretty dreadful. A really bad game. Second half, I thought they controlled to get most of the game. We had a 2-minute spell after Hawkins, Dobra, and who I can't remember who else came on. Harrop, yeah. Where suddenly, you know, a ball went into the box, was nodded down, and then there was a cross after that, and suddenly, you know, could something happen? You know, we didn't deserve it, but could we snatch it? But we didn't deserve it, you know. And I think when you're getting outplayed by the team bottom of the league, then that's a pretty sorry state of affairs. You know, before the game, I cast my mind back to the 2001 promotion season where we played Huddersfield at home. And I remember thinking, and I said to people, if we're going to go up, this is the game we win. If we can win this game, we'll go up. Not because of points or anything, just because you have to go and win that game, get the 3 points and move on. And this weekend, we had the same situation. We needed 6 points somehow, just get 6 points, and that will set us up. And we couldn't do it, you know, and that's the sign of a team, you know, of a team that just hasn't got it in them to do it, to go away from home, bottom of the league side, worst defence in the league. And we didn't have a shot on target, I think is the stat, isn't it? Not a single shot on target against the worst team in League One, you know, and that's awful. You know, if you want to keep us in the Easter theme, you know, if Ipswich Town are an Easter egg, then we're this massive box on the shelf, you know, one of the biggest ones in the shop. And then when you open it, you've just got this tiny little egg that's got no quality, no character, and just leaves you disappointed. You know, so really, it's not going to happen, is it? It's not. I mean, but the facts, as we just discussed, it still is possible. You know, we could still somehow get a load of wins together and find ourselves, you know, going into the last few games of the season with a chance of the playoffs. But you know, it's not clear that it's going to happen. Paul Cook must go home and lay in bed thinking, what the hell have I just done? I've just signed a 2.5-year contract with these guys. So I think someone else has mentioned, obviously it's a unique situation that Paul Cook's got this summer where there's so many players that are out of contract, because normally your manager would take over and most of the squad are under contract, and then you've got to try and find a way of selling them or moving them on. He's really got his pick. He can decide who he wants, who he doesn't want, and pretty much start with a clean slate in the summer. And you know, as all of us have been saying, none of the squad there at the minute who are out of contract look like they're really stating a claim or doing themselves proud for staying there next season. So it's another disappointing weekend. Another tenner spent on iFollow. hoping for a good game and a good result, only to be disappointed. We've got to wait till Saturday now, have we? We haven't got a game Tuesday. Maybe Saturday will be the game. Come on, Ross. Maybe Saturday will be the game where it all clicks and we bang in 4 goals, and then we're all happy for once.
Well, John, very much for joining me as ever for our regular counselling session on Town for game day. Easter Monday has seen us draw 0-0 against Rochdale, bottom of League One, Rochdale, by the way. Your thoughts as ever? I'm going to steal one of your lines. Groundhog Day once again.
Exactly that, Ross. How many times have we had these conversations? And it doesn't matter. It could be Northampton, it could be Wigan, it could be even a good team like Portsmouth. We play teams and we make them look better than they are. And we always look like we're the worst team. No matter who we play, we look like we're the worst team. You know, somebody like Rathbone today ran the show. Like, where was our midfield today in comparison? You know, would you take him in our side from that one viewing? Absolutely, you would. Who stood up and be counted? You know, I'm going to steal one of your lines. You just said to me about player ratings. Like, that's a hard job today, isn't it? And he's probably scratching his head right now as we're talking, thinking, what do I give these players? I think the most disappointing thing for me, Ross, is, and I'm not blaming Paul Cook at all for this, I'm not somebody on his back. I hoped we'd have a bit of a manager bounce. I'm not lying about that, but I'm not judging him on the fact we haven't. I'm judging the players on the fact they haven't produced anything for our new manager. Like, who is standing up and being counted? Who is going, I want to be here? And I've said that in the last few weeks. It's just crap. I was bored watching my team. You know, I've said to my kids and my wife today, listen, I know I did it on Friday, but I'm going to watch the game today. You know, Easter weekend, I could be doing nice family stuff. And instead I'm paying a tenner again to watch an absolute bore fest. It was awful. Like, the highlights on, what are the highlights going to be? Judge's shot? I'm trying to think. That's it. That's it for 90 minutes as far as Ipswich Town are concerned going forward. You know, oh, sorry, there's one near the end, wasn't there? We had a little run. But, oh, come on, we were dreadful again. Dreadful. Just nothing. I've just put on Twitter, let's finish the season now, put us out of our misery. And I think the fact that we're still somehow in the playoff mix-up, we're 8th with 3 points behind the playoffs. You know, that shows how just terrible this league is, because we should be out of it. Because anybody who's watched us over a period of time, like us fans, hardcore fans who are watching it week in and week out, just know we're nowhere near. And even if we somehow had a miracle turnaround of form and scraped into 6th, we'll get tonked in the playoffs. Let's just let Cooks have his summer now. I'm pleased Marcus Evans was there today watching that. I hope he actually saw the brand of football that he's developed under Lambert and developed. You know, it's awful at the moment. We haven't got the players to play the system Cook wants to play. We haven't got the players who are showing any fight. You know, I've stood by some of them a long, long time, saying, oh yeah, but maybe if we just had a couple more people fit, maybe if we just had 1 or 2 more people around. As each week passes by, the list of release is getting bigger. The amount of players I want to leave our club is getting higher. And I think you were saying about Bloomers, talking about not connecting with any of the players. You know, even Guion and Bishop, who have always liked Bishop, always, and Guion, who had such a great start of the season. I'm a little bit meh with them at the moment. You know, there's nobody in that team really right now who's exciting me or is make me go, I want to play for Ipswich Town. And isn't that sad? I think that's the saddest thing about being a fan. You know, we're passionate, and certainly the manager is, and the coaching staff all seem to be. And I just hope that over the next few weeks, they really get to know what they want to happen over the summer. I hope Marcus Evans has seen just how bad we are and is willing to back Cook a little bit, because, my God, we need an overhaul. And yeah, I've seen on Twitter some people saying things like, you know, it's all well and good. In January, we're saying all Lambert's fault, and now suddenly we're all saying it's the players' fault. But he has coached that squad for 2 years, and he had put that squad together, and he's knocked the confidence and the capabilities out of them. So he is responsible. but so are each of every single one of those players. And I'm not seeing enough from any of them. So try to a lot of them, and let's have better plays, because I'm not being silly, Ross. We all deserve more. You know, I've said to you this season, I've watched more Ipswich games than ever before in my life in one season because of the COVID situation, and I follow. And my God, I've chosen the worst possible time to see so many Ipswich games because we are woeful. It's like misery. So bring the season to an end. Let it be over. And let's have a good summer, please, and then let's start fresh next year.
Well, Brad, thank you very much for joining me on a Easter Monday edition of Game Day to talk about a goalless draw against Rochdale, a new low. Stole up from you from the group chat. Your thoughts, as ever. A lot of Easter eggs have been eaten this weekend, but that is not a good game, was it?
No, the Easter eggs consumed this weekend have just about kept me going, I think. And today, like you say, I think I just kept eating more chocolate as the game went on, to sort of like just to get away from the misery a little bit. But yeah, it is a new low, it feels. You look at if you tell a football fan, or if they see that today, that we drew 0-0 with Rochdale, they'll automatically think, okay, you must have been peppering the goal, just couldn't get the winner. But it's not like that in the slightest. They're not. I don't think I saw. No, there's no shots on target, weren't there? And I think on the stats after, 0 successful crosses. It's just absolutely dreadful, mate. Just so devoid of confidence. Like, this is what we do, right? We get the ball in an attacking position, and instead of trying to invent something or take a risk, they'll go back. They'll go back to the centre half, then they'll switch a play, and then they'll get in that same situation the other side, and then they'll come back again. There's just no belief. There's no belief. There's no confidence, and they'll just look really poor, mate. I mean, Rochdale, give them credit. They put well, of course they're going to, because like I've said, these teams down the bottom will see Ipswich as a big game, sort of one of the last games of their season to really, well, not Rochdale because they're fighting for their lives, but other teams will see us, like Fleetwoods and that, will see us as a team to really get up for. So yeah, I mean, I almost felt like we were playing it with 10 men at time, because there's a Rochdale player on our man every single time, and they just look more neat and tidy than us, better on the ball. Rathbone in the middle had a really good game for them. It's the sort of player we need in the middle, isn't it? Someone who's got an engine on them and get about the pitch, because our spine is lacking in the team, isn't it? Bishop and Dazelle. Bishop, it can only really produce something when he's playing in a free, like he did on Friday. There was a free in midfield, wasn't there? And he was able to break forward. Well, today it was just for 2. Well, it was 4-4-2 after 20 minutes, and then he just doesn't seem to be able to venture any further forward. Dazelle bought nothing. I'm struggling. I can't find a man of the match. But this is how it's going, isn't it? You can't even pick out a player to say, oh, he had a good game, or yeah, at least he tried something. Like, you're just scraping the barrel for man of the matches. I don't know how Andy's doing it on his ratings, or how he's even coming up with one. But it's just embarrassing, mate. You go away to Rochdale, bottom of the league. You don't register a single shot on target. You don't even try and put the ball on the box towards the end of the game. What are they doing? What are they doing? I don't. I mean, I'm sure Cook isn't telling them to do this on a training pitch, to go back when you're in a threatening position. Because I've always said, like, if you get into those positions, it's then up to the player what he does next. You can't blame that on Cook. He must just want the season to be over now, because I feel like that our season is over after today. I'm sick of a little glimmer of hopes that you get. Well, not glimmer of hopes, but like 3 points against Rovers to put you back in contention, or somebody up there not winning, so you're still in contention. I'm sick of it. I just want it over now. I just want this season to be finished, because it was a new low today. Haven't been able to create chances all season. I think Ben came up with the stat 3 goals against the bottom teams in the last 5 games against them. It's dreadful. And if we're not careful, well, thankfully Cook is going to have a massive clear out and do something in the summer. So yeah, forget that. I was about to say, if we're not careful, we could end up like Rochdale. But it's just, I'll finish it with, this is what it means to be a town fan. You wake up this morning, you're talking to your family or about whoever about the game, I've personally invited my in-laws around to watch the game. We're all getting excited about it. We're all planning what we're going to have, getting the beers in for tea after the game and that. You're excited about the game. And you watch that, and we're just all moaning. My wife, she's like stressed out because we're moaning. My little girl, I'm like trying to give her attention at the same time as I'm sort of nearly swearing about the game. Obviously, I wouldn't swear in front of her. I mean, you just feel flat. You just feel flat after. And that's how we'd be feeling if we were going to games as well. I know you'd be able to get your frustrations out, but it's just flat at the minute, mate. It's just nothing to really cling on to. Just want the season over.